everybody for coming out, and I'd also like to acknowledge dozens and dozens of people that I've spoke to over the past couple of weeks that just unfortunately weren't able to make it today due to the fact that we had this rally on too tight of time constraints. But their hearts and their thoughts are with us, and please know that. So going back to last year, Alberta Health Services announced to staff and to the world that they would be privatizing laboratory services in Alberta. It was told to us that essentially this was being driven by the government, and so we set on a motion from our local to try to stop privatization. We met with the then Health Minister, Fred Horn, and after quite a long conversation, he basically brushed us off and he said, "This is not our problem with the government, this is an AHS directive." So then we went down the road of meeting with AHS, and we bombarded from person to person, and we finally got a meeting with the CEO and president then of Alberta Health Services, who is Duncan Campbell. We met with him, we presented papers, and we had lots of evidence as why we think this is a bad idea. We actually consulted with the staff, AHS had not at that time, and we pretty much at the end of that conversation convinced him this is not a good idea. He agreed with us. When we left his office that day, he tweeted that he would at least slow down, if not stop, the privatization of our services. About a week later, poor Mr. Duncan Campbell was no longer the CEO and president of Alberta Health Services. So we've continued down our road. I've personally spoken with probably thousands by now of Albertans. Our local has had signed over 9,000 letters from everyday tax-paying Albertans that do not want to see Alberta Health Services privatize laboratory services in the Edmonton zone or anywhere else in Alberta. To date, though, the government has not acknowledged why they're doing it. They won't acknowledge our questions as to why they won't listen to us. And so we need your help, and we need to keep fighting this because nobody wants to see this happen. So with that, I would just like to introduce a few speakers that we have to talk on behalf of our Saving the Public Labs. I'll start with our president of AUPE, Guy Smith.
Thank you, Sister Lynn. I want to acknowledge the excellent work that Lynn Morrison and her local has done in this fight. They've taken it on for a year now. They've been doing excellent work. Thank you, sister. It makes me proud to be a president of a union of such fine activists. And you know what? What doesn't make me proud is the fact that we have to once again stand up for public health care in front of a Minister of Health's office yet again. How many times have we had to do this? Too many. And how many times do they have to reverse stupid decisions that AHS makes? We've seen it time and again. AHS makes a decision, we fight back, then the minister changes that direction. We saw it with Alberta Hospital Edmonton, we saw it with security staff in rural regions, and you know what? That's the time when the ministers make the right decision. We're asking Stephen Mandel, as the current health minister, and maybe the next health minister after the by-election on Monday, to reverse a bad decision and stand up for the rights of Albertans to get the quality public services they deserve. I'll tell you, they've tried this experiment before with privatization of labs, and they had to bring it back in-house to run publicly. Why? Because the public system is the best system. It's the most efficient, most responsive, and it means that Albertans get fair value for their tax dollar, and it doesn't go to the bottom line or to the profits of a large company like Sonic. That's not the way healthcare runs in this province. When profits are your only motivation, what kind of caring services are you going to provide? None. When those profits are going offshore to an Australian company, what kind of investment is that in Alberta? None. So here we are again, as a union, and we're here with other unions as well. I'm really glad to see the turnout from other unions that are affected by this. But we're here not just only standing up for the fine workers who provide quality services, we're standing up for the rights of all Albertans, to get good public health care that they deserve, and we'll continue to stand and fight as long as it takes to make sure that that happens. So thanks for coming out today. We'll keep this struggle going. Mr. Mandel, the first thing you do when you're in office is to reverse the bad decision to privatize labs. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. This thing is really heavy to say. Next, I'd like to introduce my very good friend to this bad situation that we've been dealing with the last year. She's helped us a lot along the way. Sandra Azapar, Director of Friends of Medicare.
Stephen Mandel is here. Stephen's head is here. Thank you so much for coming out and supporting this very important struggle. On Wednesday during the white mud, the boys are getting rowdy.
They don't like it either.
Yeah, they don't like the privatization either. During the white mud forum that was just held last Wednesday, Mr. Mandel indicated that he was not going to interfere with Alberta Health Services' decision to go forward with the privatization of the labs. And that is just such a classic behavior, because Alberta Health Services was created so that this government could divest themselves from the responsibility that they need to take when it comes to decision making. If he had read his job description, he would know that policy making is part of what he's expected to do in that role as an interim Minister of Health. He would have to know that the decision to privatize lab would fall flat on his lap in terms of policy making. Alberta Health Services is there to deliver whatever policy direction he gives them. So I guess we have a message for you. That's part of your job, Stephen Mandel, if you are elected as an MLA. And what we expect is that you reverse this poor decision. We have tried this, as President Smith indicated before, and we spent millions of dollars in building a state-of-the-art lab back then at the Royal Alex, and it was shortly closed, and some of the services continue to be with Dynalife in the community. So we're expecting him to deal with this situation. Whoever becomes the MLA, whoever becomes the Minister of Health, if he's not elected, they need to reverse this bad decision. We need to take away the profit motive from a very important and integral part of our service in our healthcare system. This government has completely failed to present a reasonable financial case for the necessity of this privatization, and we want it to stop, and we need it to stop right now. Sonic Healthcare, in their website, indicated that there's two elements of governance for companies: performance and conformance. Both are important, according to them, and I quote them, but it is critical that focus on conformance does not detract from the principal function of business, which is to undertake prudent activities to generate rewards for shareholders who invest their capital in their company. That's an exact example of why it is that we are concerned about the profit motive behind this company, and we don't want that to take any kind of place in our healthcare system delivery. So we need to send them a clear message. You need to reverse this decision, and you need to stop the privatization not only of our lab services, but our public healthcare system.
Thank you, Sandra. So along this past year, we've had a lot of support from a lot of people. The NDP party has been fantastic. We had over, like I said, 9,000 letters that we had signed by the general public. What we did was we took those letters and we copied them, and the original went to the MLA of the person who lived in their constituency, and the copy went to the NDP, who were very kind, and throughout the year they've been tabling these letters. So now I'd like to introduce Brian Mason.
Well, thank you very much, sisters and brothers. I'm glad that you're doing this. I'm glad that we're here and that we're standing up for public health care once again in this province. This is the largest single privatization of our healthcare system since Medicare in the province of Alberta, and it has come in under the watch of this health minister, this unelected health minister, Stephen Mandel. It was a decided thing long ago. It came from the Redford government, but the final decision is in that man's hands, Stephen Mandel, and he made the decision to proceed with this privatization to a foreign company, $1 billion of contracts. This company has said in its own financial statements that it expects to earn $200 million in profits from this deal. That is our taxpayers' money going to offshore investors to get worse services than we already have. And it's very interesting that the doctors who depend on this, including Dr. Bob, have stood up very hard against this because they know it affects the safety of their patients and their ability to do their job. So we really have to ask the question, why are we going down this path? Why are we going down the same old path that the Tories have always tried to foist on us? Mr. Prentice says that they're under new management. Things are going to be different. The bad old days of Alison Redford are behind us. But if you look at this decision, like so many other decisions, you will see that it is the same privatization agenda that the Conservatives have always had. It's important in this by-election that we stand up and send the Conservatives a message. This is an opportunity here in Whitemud to send the Tories a message and elect Dr. Bob to stand up in that legislature and tell them what it is, how it is. So I want to thank AUPE and your local and all of the leadership from Guy down. We've seen tremendous leadership from this union, and I really do appreciate the fight that you're putting up. Other unions are here as well in support, and I appreciate that very much. What we need right now, sisters and brothers, is solidarity and standing up against the Tory privatization agenda. Thank you very much.
A few months ago, I sat in the office of a very brilliant man who explained to me mathematically why this is not a good deal. Dr. Raj Sharma, would you come and say a few words?
Thank you very much. Guy Smith, Sandra, executive and members of AUPE, I want to thank you so much on behalf of the Alberta Liberals for fighting the good fight to protect public services. The Alberta Liberals want publicly funded and publicly delivered education and healthcare. Dr. Donna Wilson, she's one of the top researchers in healthcare in this province. You know, doctors know a lot about healthcare, but I'll tell you, Donna's even a bigger expert than I am in healthcare because she's managed hospitals and managed nursing homes. And Donna understands, and you, AUP, understand that when you add in profit, the price of care is much higher and the quality and level of care is much lower. Stephen Mandel and Jim Prentice, they are selling Alberta out. They're wasting your tax dollars putting in the pockets of millionaires. Jim Prentice is a billionaire, he represents the billionaire bankers. His interest is to line the pockets of billionaire bankers and billionaire businessmen. That can't happen. Shame. I'm asking everyone in Alberta, anybody but PC, anybody but PC, you gotta send this government a message. And heck, if you're conservative, you should actually vote Wild Rose. Now in this riding, Dr. Donna Wilson got the best chance of winning, and she's the best healthcare advocate. She will represent the interests of AUPE, the very frontline staff, because she still works in the front lines like I and Dr. Bob do. So I'm asking everyone, support Dr. Wilson because she has the best chance of beating Stephen Mandel and is by far the best healthcare advocate in Edmonton Whitemud, if not in the province of Alberta right now. Thank you so much to AUPE, and let's go door knocking after this. Thank you. And lastly, I want to thank Brian Mason. Please give Brian a round of applause. God bless you all. Thank you, Brian.
Okay, next we have a speaker from PIA, and I'd like to introduce I just choked. I'm choked on it. I'm trying to be loud, but I guess I don't need to be. Bill Ward, come down and thank you.
You don't have to choke on my name. It's okay. It's a hard lesson. Thank you so much. Thanks to AUPE and everyone for coming out. Mayor Mandel, when he was mayor of the city, I keep calling him Mayor Mandel, he was the driving force behind so much of the P3s that we see here. And I think the people of this community need to remember that Mayor Mandel was the driving force behind the public-private partnership of the Southwest Rec Center. And I think a lot of people forget that story, and it's an important story for today because for 10 years the people of this community was looking for some public recreation center to be built. Mayor Mandel drove that to be a public-private partnership. But what happened was when they signed that contract, or when they went to negotiate that contract, the company actually said, we're not going to build 4 sheets ice, we're going to build 2. We're not going to build the swimming pool the way you want it, etc. And so the city had to come back and go back and build it as a traditional public facility. So we thought we were going to lose that one, but in the end we actually won that one because the whole public-private partnership approach was failed. And so Mayor Mandel was driving that force, and he had to eat crow, and I think he's going to have to eat crow again. We also know that he was the driving force behind the privatization of our Southwest LRT line, which we are continuing to fight. And we know that the value for money that they talk about when they talk about these public-private partnerships are completely bogus, and it's the taxpayers that are going to pay for it, for extra amounts of dollars, and for poor quality service. So this fight isn't over. Depending on what happens on Monday, we're going to keep this front and center, and we're going to be working with all of our partners here. We've got Marley from QP and AUP, other groups, and we're going to make sure that he eats crow again.
Thanks, Bill. Sorry about your interruption. Speaking of QP, I was wondering if I could please invite Marley Roberts to come up and say a few words. They are our brothers and sisters on the line with us. They work in lab medicine right along with us. So please be welcome, Marley.
Thank you, brothers and sisters. Mike fell. Marty fell. Oh, Mike fell. Oh, hey, I get special treatment. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for being here today. What we're seeing is more of the same. When Premier Prentice came in, he talked about open. He talked about transparency. And we are not seeing that. Brothers and sisters, in AUPE and other unions, decisions were made without consultation with any of us. Yes. Right. Decisions being made that are going to affect the health of citizens all across Alberta are going to be impacted by that. No open transparency, no talks, just being done to a private company. Shame. 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 What happened in Edmonton is the same thing happened, and we talked about, Brother Bill talked about privatization earlier. Edmonton Power, behind closed doors, no input. The same is happening again. We're asking Stephen Mandel to change this decision now. If he's elected to change this decision, he needs to support the people that have elected him. Make sure that when we go to hospitals and have an emergency, that it can be attended to direct right away and attended to and taken care of by public care. Yes. Because that is the best care. Brothers and sisters, I just want to end in saying, let's do a chant. We need change.
We need change. We need change. We need change. We need change.
Thank you. Keep lab services public. Thank you.
blood much better than I speak into one of these things. Hello, can you hear me?
There we go.
I just said I take blood much better than I can operate one of these things. Okay, lastly, I'd like to invite the Vice President of the anti-prive committee over there at AUPE, which is a fantastic union. I'd just like to add. Karen, would you please come say a few words?
Go, Karen!
Hello.
Hello, everybody! You know, I'm saddened that we have to stand out here again defending public services. Our labs are important not only to our members that work in those facilities, but it's important to all Albertans. We need to stand up for all Albertans. When we look at privatization, it doesn't stop in one area, it spreads. We need to stop it here, stop it now. Give Mr. Mandel a message that there is no privatization of our lab services. Keep it public. We want it public, and we will keep it public because we will stand together. So I'm going to follow Marty and say, let's start chanting. Keep labs public.
Keep labs public! 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 Keep labs public!
Brothers and sisters, Local 54 of AUPE are working hard. They need your help. Please contact your MLAs. Please write the editor of the newspapers. Talk to your neighbors. Talk to your friends. Talk to your families. Start causing the ruckus because this will affect every Albertan. Thank you again, everybody, for coming out. Thank you for being here. And solidarity!